Oh no, the MCU took a leak. Hi everyone, thank you for watching and enjoying what might be something stupid, you never know. Anyway, I wanted to look at the Avengers Doomsday plot leak breakdown from comicbookmovie.com. All your biggest questions about the movie answered with spoilers. Ooh. Spoilers for the movie if you really think this is serious. This sounds very plausible, but I'm not, how should I say this? I'm not going to 100% believe it, but it sounds very plausible. So, Avengers Doomsday begins in the reality where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man calls home. He's in the midst of a battle with Deadpool and Wolverine. Ooh, the member berries are being dangled in front of us. I mean, what, Deadpool and Wolverine wasn't that long ago. Who've been set there by Beast with a device capable of destroying this world. Think TVA pruning timelines thing. Let me get back to this. Wolverine manages to set the device and stays behind, perishing alongside the web slinger. That seems strange. Deadpool returns to his world, and while we see Professor X watching on with sadness as another planet falls. So question, Wolverine was an anchor being and he had to come to the Deadpool universe to anchor that universe so it didn't die. So now does that universe die? I mean, that seems like a lot of work for nothing. However, the X-Men had no choice, as similar to what we saw in Jonathan Hickman's New Avengers run, which led directly into Secret Wars. Yeah, we'll talk about Jonathan Hickman in a minute. You either save one reality, or allow both to be destroyed by the incursion. Oh, that word. We've heard that before. Then we go back to Tony Stark's funeral in Avengers Endgame, and follow Steve Rogers into the past, as he chooses to build a life with Peggy Carter. They have a son, Jim. Jim Rogers? Jim Carter? I don't know. And receive a visit from Loki, just before the Season 2 finale. Loki warns Steve that TVA's plan to prune the new timeline, and offers to move them to a world where they can be safely hide because they don't exist. Earth 828. The home of the Fantastic Four! So, right there I have a question. Why the hell is Loki helping Steve? Couldn't in a million years see why. They've had just a few interactions in Avengers, really. Past that, they never really interacted. Why would... it's just strange to me. Yeah. And Peggy doesn't feel bad about this at all? I mean... So anyway, they're 10 years in the alternate reality of the Fantastic Four. So that expands on the post-credit scene, where Dr. Doom tells Mr. Fantastic about incursions and the fact their universe is next. Now, since we already know Robert Downey Jr. is playing Doom, is it going to be a big mystery that he's Stark? I mean, is it going to be obvious? I mean, I'm sure that... I keep reading they're going to keep him in the mask, which is strange, but okay. Yeah, it doesn't seem right. But anyway, they figure out that someone is living in their reality, which shouldn't be there. They visit Steve, who agrees to join them on their trip to Earth 616. And that's the reason I ask, is because does Steve realize that's Tony? And if so, but I mean, nothing here it indicates any of that. So it's like, okay, seems like that would be a big plot point. Anyway, where he successfully convinces his world's heroes to help Doom enact his plan, which sounds ridiculous, but also sounds up to par with what we see in MCU nowadays. The Avengers vs. X-Men battle is a smaller part of the movie than you might expect. The fight ensues when Earth 616's mightiest heroes arrive seeking help. Though it's not specified in this leak, we'd assume they're here to learn more about Beast's device. Sure, the mutant team has survived multiple incursions and are understandably hostile. Later we learn that Dr. Doom and Reed Richards have a plan to build massive cannons on the remaining Earths, which will somehow separate the parallel realities and end the incursions. we'll have this big gun out here, and the force of the blast will knock the whole universe back. I don't know. Cannons?
It was a cannon!
It was definitely a cannon.
Okay. Split into teams and visit different worlds and place them there. Meanwhile, Steve, now reunited with Thor, tells him he met a Loki. Not Loki, a Loki. Who is still alive and agrees to take him to the God of Thunder to his brother in the TVA. Great place for Thor to be, which they locate on the card mentioned before. Card, okay, we're back to... Okay, remember when Avengers used to have cards where they would contact each other? So that's a callback to that. I bet the Russo brothers are like, oh, we're so clever! However, when Steve and Thor get there, they find that everyone is dead and Loki has had his heart ripped out. Oh, okay. Figuring out that Dr. Doom is responsible, somehow, I bet you that guy named Doom did this. You think so? Yeah. Let's go kick his ass. Steve confronts him and learns the villain's true plan: to allow the incursions to happen so he can rebuild the universe in his old image and resurrect his dead family. So he's pulling a Thanos. Things get a little vague here, but Doom takes Steve to his castle in Latveria, you know, that place he lives, and introduces his masked followers, one of whom is supposedly impersonating Peggy to manipulate Cap. Okay. His presence on Earth 828 is what caused the impending incursion into their reality, prompting Doom to conduct dangerous experiments that eventually went horribly wrong, killing his wife and child and leaving him disfigured. One thing about that and Steve causing incursions, I thought... Well, then again, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness would have canceled this, but I did get the impression in Loki Season 1 that Infinity Stones created incursions. But then, yeah, I guess that in Multiverse of Madness, they said it could be other things. So, okay, never mind. Oh, wait. According to the Season 1, Infinity Stones created branching timelines. Okay. Never mind, I got my stupid-ass multiverse shit confused. Oh, wow. Take back my geek card. That's why he's now trapped in his armor and mask. And to make Steve pay, he kills Jim in front of him. Yeah, he kills his kid. Ooh. We don't know if Victor clashed with the Fantastic Four before or after this accident. It seems Thor has told his fellow heroes about Doom's true nature. As the Avengers, Fantastic Four, and X-Men arrive in Latveria, the God of Thunder prays to Odin, who sends an army from Valhalla to join the battle. And more ensues and the final incursion begins. Yeah, that's sounding familiar here. There's no stopping that. Everything is destroyed apart from Doom. When he stole Loki's heart, he stole the powers and now uses them to create Battleworld. Resurrecting the fallen, Doom erases their memory and makes it so that they will only remember the new reality, where they have new lives in his false reality. With that, Doom sits on his throne as God Emperor of Battleworld. We still have some answer questions, and there are still some plot holes. Did Doom killing Loki start the incursions? And if he had already stolen his powers, then why did he need to formulate that plan with the Fantastic Four to team up with the other heroes? Was he distracting them in a bid to stop them from preventing final incursion? We'll have to wait and see. For now, there is no link between Doom and Iron Man. And perhaps unsurprisingly, no mention of Kang. We've also learned that Doom's villainous turn occurs during the fight between the Avengers and X-Men. So there's some key details missing from the initial leak. Okay. Well, that's how they figured out it was Doom. Okay. So, this sounds like Time Runs Out, which was Hickman. Lead up to Secret Wars, which I have a lot of problems with, and a lot of problems are in this. First and foremost, the heroes going on mass genocide, killing whole universes. There was a point that Steve argued with Doctor Strange on this, to the point that, well, Professor X wiped his memory, but then again, they've been vilifying Professor X for decades before this, so that wasn't really out of character at that point. I mean, it was bothersome because I kind of understood it from Reed's point of view. he could not find another solution. He was being pragmatic and protecting his family. I kind of understood it from Strange's point of view because he just decided there's no other solution. But I didn't see it from the other character's point of view. Well, except for Namor, who I think wanted to commit mass genocide always anyway. There's some subtle differences here. With the incursions in Time Runs Out, it was the Beyonders that were creating those. It wasn't Doom, who it makes it sound like he's doing them. Possibly. I don't know. Maybe they're already occurring and he's just taking advantage. I don't know. But the whole point was that Doom figured this out and figured out a way to steal the power of the Beyonders to make Battleworld and save existence. Which was an interesting thing because technically makes him the hero, although he certainly does take advantage of that fact. But I did find that much more interesting than this. You know, I'm mad at you. I'm going to destroy all reality to bring my kid back, my wife and kid back. And the funky thing is, you know, I keep looking at this picture from, I think it's issue 4. I'm not positive. But, you know, it has Sue as his wife. I wonder if Tony will make Peggy his wife. That would be weird, wouldn't it? And will Strange still sit as Seraph? Because there's no mention of Strange in this at all. I would figure Strange would have to play a part in this. You know, when he's the sheriff for Doom, that's kind of an interesting thing. And then I do plan to do a, because while I did not like Time Runs Out, for exactly the reasons I'm discussing, I did really like Secret Wars. I mean, I kind of just took only the part about, you know, the Beyonders were causing the incursion and Doom found a way to save the universe. Those are the two things I took from it. And then that story becomes very enjoyable. You start having... Okay, so first thing I don't like putting Steve in the position where he causes the end of the universes. It's like, oh man, you know, that was a happy ending for Steve. It's going to screw up his happy ending, for sure. And really, it's like the one time he made a decision for himself. And it destroys all reality. That's just like, that sucks. And if they don't have a scene where Steve feels bad about this when he starts discovering it, I'm not going to be happy. But at the same time, Steve was always the guy that's like, we don't trade lives. So, yeah, and I really don't like how it's like, oh, the X-Men are just pruning universes. It's okay, we're pruning universes. Big deal. Oh, that's weird and awful. And then I already mentioned the thing about Wolverine staying back is like, oh, I guess, you know, your universe is going to die anyway. You know, this is not exciting. It's not, I mean, just as a synopsis, this is not exciting. It's not something I'm going, oh, I want to see that expanded. I actually don't. And I had a bad feeling this was what we were going to get. We were going to get Time Runs Out adapted into an MCU movie. Poorly. And I mean, they did Infinity War, which is basically Thanos' quest, although they made a little bit, I mean, they made a lot of improvements to it. But at the same time, it's like, this, and I gotta say, Time Runs Out, I always did have a big problem with that story because it was the heroes destroying realities and they never tried to find a new solution. I would have accepted it if, you know, they were, quote, destroying realities because that's the solution they found while seeking another solution. You know, and it would have been an interesting morality thing. And I thought that could have been cool, but there was nobody was looking for other solutions. Last universe standing, boys. That bothered me a lot in that story. It bothered me a lot. It's one of the things that bothered me about Hickman. It seemed like when he did really good stories, it really hit the nail on the head. But when he messed up something, it was like, oh, God. And I would just sit there and go, ouch. But I also did like Doom as God Emperor, so there's that. Was Robert Downey Jr. playing Doom, and especially nothing being made of him being Stark? I don't see the point. It's just pointless. Why? It makes no sense. It just makes no sense. I'm willing to bet that Steve takes the place of Reed in the story for Secret War. The final battle is between Stark, Doom, and Steve. And actually, I imagine that Steve wrestles the heart of Loki away, and that's how he fixes reality. That seems about right. But yeah, this isn't. This doesn't get me excited. Doesn't give me no hype. Doesn't give me joy. Makes me kind of go meh. It's not bad. It's just meh. Yeah. It's not even really. I mean, somebody used the analogy. It's like pouring your action figures out and flashing them together. It's that. It's just kind of like plotting the plot along with exposition. Because nothing was set up. And, you know, if you didn't have anything set up, you get this last minute shit. And it's like, ugh. That's what I'm feeling off of this movie. Off of this leak. Now, this leak could be 100% bullshit. I kind of hope it's 100% bullshit. Because this is very uninteresting. And very tedious. I know this is a movie I'm not going to run and see in the theaters. Marvel has worn out my goodwill. To the point, I'm almost not going to watch any of their films. I will probably watch this one. More out of curiosity than anything. Not that I have a real interest in the movie. I just want to see what they do and how they do it. Possibly laugh at it. But we're nostalgic for 7 years ago, guys. Get ready, because we're going to get nostalgic for breakfast next. Woohoo! Magic spoon, here we come. Okay, enough of me joking around. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Hope you enjoyed this run with just having fun with the Dooms. Take care, guys.